do you pronounce your last name?
Madreiter.
Madreiter.
Yes.
And you are co-owner? What is your title here?
Yes. So actually, in a couple of days, we are celebrating 185 years being family Madreiter here at this location. So the previous name of the hotel was Embachhof. It was a farmhouse, yeah, and it was host like an inn for at least 70 years now. So our first guests moved in the early 40s and 50s. So during World War II, the first guest came, and so family Madreiter is an ancient name, yeah, being here for a long time.
So the property was here, but not taking guests.
Not taking guests for a long time. It was a farmhouse, and it was taking guests since the 40s. Yeah, and
That was your grandfather?
it was my grandfather, and then my father, and then it was my brother and me. And you never know what the future will bring.
So when did it become like a real hotel with rooms? What year did that happen?
It's like a startup, because it was a small pension inn for almost 50 years. And 2007, we decided to come up with some chalets. At 2006 to 2007, there were maybe 10 to 15 comparable chalet villages throughout Austria.
In the whole of the country?
In the whole of the country. Nowadays, it's more than 100. Yeah, so it's a double-digit growth.
In 20 years?
In 20 years. And I think single property is called chalet, maybe 1,000 in Austria. But at this time, 20 years ago, it was something very new. And especially in this area, it was the first project coming up with chalets. And we built 7 chalets, and 2 years later, 2011, we came up with another 7. So now we have 14 chalets in total. And at this time, it was the inn with 20 rooms, bedrooms.
This main building?
Yeah, the main building was 20 guest rooms and 14 chalets. And in 2015, I came back after my wonder years. How do you call it? I don't know.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Where were you wandering?
I studied economics and business administration, and I worked for some consultancy companies, and I was traveling throughout the world. So I was living in Asia, I was living in Moscow, I was living in Spain, I was 1.5 years in London. And after my traveling years, I was never in the tourism business. I was just always in the consultancy business. It was more like M&A transactions. I was focusing on hospitality business, yeah, and hospitality industry, but never hotel into deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was like 2015 when I decided to come back.
Well, why did you?
When you are working for a Big Four company, as I did the last 7 years before I decided to move back, you have to ask yourself, are you on the partner track or not? And I was like on the partner track, but my business plan was moving to Salzburg. So the office was in Vienna, yeah, but my plan was starting the consultancy branch or building up branch office in Salzburg. But
the company want that?
No, yes. The Austrian company wanted it, yeah, but the German ones, they didn't like the idea because it was too close to Salzburg.
Salzburg is too close to
Munich,
right?
Yes. So, and I was working for a project on a BMW, and so there was a coincidence because they felt like when Michael is going to Salzburg, building up his branch office, he's tearing BMW towards Salzburg, and they're running out of business in Munich. Yeah, so they offered me a job in Munich, a well-paid one, yeah, as a managing director, but I was not really open for it. Yeah, and as we flew home from a discussion in Frankfurt, I told my former boss I have to quit the job. Yeah, because if it hasn't, the feeling wasn't good. Yeah, so and after that, I had a lot of time. Yeah. To question myself, what is...
So did you come back here to Leogang?
Yes, yeah. First I come back to Leogang, and the first intention was not building up a hotel, yeah. The first intention was to have a rest, like a sabbatical, Yeah, but then it was like, okay, maybe parts of the inn are getting older, so the end of the life cycle was near, and the chalets were running very good. It was a good investment, but the old inn was end of the life cycle.
And your brother Philip was running things here?
Together with my parents, yeah. Yeah, it was run by my father and my mother, and my brother did the back office and service and stuff like that. But it was very, very tiny and small. So there were just 5 co-workers maybe employed. Yeah.
So just as recently as 2015.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you came back to have rest,
Yeah.
and then what happened?
Then it happened because I saw that all the other companies are investing a hell lot of money because it was everything was moving up. So nights spent were moving up, turnovers were moving up. The local cable car company, the Bergbahnen, they invested a hell lot of money into Steinbergbahn. So it was like a startup environment. And as we have a nice property in the middle then of 2 cable companies, it was quite clear going for the same investment like in the hotel business as all the others are doing. Yeah.
Let me describe for listeners the scene here because it's hard to picture. We're in a town called Leogang. It's about 2 hours east of Innsbruck in central Austria. It's a gorgeous valley with mountains on either side. It's not a big town, and yet it's got really world-class hospitality destinations here, and the skiing and the biking and the sports is really top-notch. I'm curious about why. Like, why this place is so popular.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, but my assumption is that everyone involved in the tourism business was tearing the same rope. So everybody had the same focus. Everybody was into the same game, and they were working together and not against each other. So I think this was one of the reasons why Leogang developed so fast and in a very classy way. So as you said, most of the hotels in Leogang are top notch. So
We've got Krallerhof, we've got Forsthoffgut,
crazy
here in the
because
middle.
they are really internationally known right now. And all the money which was invested by those companies was invested into quality. So it was we never focused on mass tourism or something like that, always on quality. And sometimes you have to have fortune. You have to be lucky, yeah? Because 25 years ago, the first downhill trails were constructed.
The first what?
Downhill trails.
Downhill.
For the biking.
Oh, for the trails for bikes. Okay.
And now, 25 years later, Leogang is one of the largest or the largest bike playground in Europe.
It's the largest in Europe?
Yeah.
Well, I can attest to that. Today, my friends and I went up the cable car to the top, and we were stunned by the amount of bikes, the trails, it's just so active. I mean, there were hundreds of people up there on mountain bikes.
I think the same is happening in Whistler.
Oh.
So it's a bit comparable, yeah? Because Whistler Mountain is very famous for downhill biking too, and in Europe it's Leogang. But we don't only come up with downhill biking, it's trail biking, it's enduro biking, it's uphill biking and stuff like that. It's more family orientated, yeah?
So let's go back to the 2015 and you come back for your sabbatical, but your timing was that all of this investment in Leogang was happening then by outside companies. And you being a management consultant, you must have seen the opportunity for your own company, your own family company.
Yes, so I think the decision was let's just stick to the chalets, yeah, and closing the inn, yeah, because the inn because the investments just to refresh the inn were too high, yeah. So so the decision was just chalets and nothing else, or chalets plus the inn or the hotel. Then you have to invest a lot of money into the old inn. Because everything was, the life cycle ended. And it was not affordable just to renew the restaurant, trying to get best rooms, and because the business plan
It didn't add up.
did not up there. So it was quite clear if you are refreshing the business, yeah, you have to come up with more guest rooms. Yeah. So, and this was the idea of coming up with a hotel, yeah, like the Puradies. And
was it called Puradies before that?
No. It wasn't called Puradies because the chalets were called Steinalmdorf and the inn was Embachhof, named like the farmhouse we had. So it were two different brands, and we thought, okay, just having one would be better. Yeah. And it was like a competition. So we asked for proposals, and yeah, you know, if you ask 3 companies for proposal, you pick one, and yeah, and it turned out to be a good name.
So 2015 again, you decide as a family
Yeah.
that you will invest in the hotel.